will start this regular session of our 15 seconds early. So, if anyone's making public comment, you will need to sign in back here before we get started. The meeting is called to order. We will now have Pledge of Allegiance. And Mr. Grotti, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, the adoption of the agenda. I would like to make an amendment to the agenda. Under item 10, new business, I would like to add an item C, an employment complaint. Are there any other changes or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is adopted as amended. First item on our agenda are commendations. School Board Appreciation.
We're actually going to put that one off for a little bit, and so if you can go to buildings first. We're going to put that one off for a little bit.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. All right, we will start with our student commendations, and let's start with the elementary school first.
Very good.
Well, we have excellent students at this elementary, and it is our pleasure to announce our first student who is going to represent our kinder, first and second graders, Lena Thompson. Lena is a first grader, and she comes to school every day with a great attitude, ready to learn. It's all right. There you go. Ready to learn. She puts her best effort in everything she does, and her work is always done with great quality. Lena is always respectful of other students and teachers. She is a great friend and loves to help others in the classroom. I appreciate the role model that she has become in my classroom. I love having Lena in my class. Ms. Cutback. For our third, fourth, and fifth is Adam Winkle. Adam is such a sweet, kind, and respectful student. Adam has been in my class this year every single day, very dedicated to his learning and excited to learn about math each day. Always present in class and focused on his teacher or on his assignments. Not everything comes easy to Adam, but he works hard and does well on everything he puts his mind to. I'm so thankful I got him in my class this year, and even more excited to have him in my class for the rest of the year, every day. Mrs. Fisher.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the middle school.
All right, middle school student of the month is Daniel Montes Trinidad. All right, the first comment here. I've had the opportunity to have Daniel the last 2 years and watch him develop into a very confident student. He has increased his written abilities, his comprehension, and he can always be found looking to help other students. He is a friend to all and has really come out of his shell. Daniel truly deserves to be celebrated as what Nissa Middle School students should strive to be. That's from Mrs. Steen. Ms. Gallegos says Daniel is an amazing student. He's always on top of his work. When he walks into class, he knows exactly what he needs to work on and gets right to it. Daniel is kind and extends his easygoing energy to everyone he encounters. He has high expectations for himself. From what I've seen, he meets or surpasses all of them. I wholeheartedly believe that he will be able to accomplish anything in life that he sets his mind to. Daniel is an exceptional scholar, and I'm excited to witness his next achievements. Good job, Daniel.
Good job.
We'll let them do the student and then we'll come back.
Okay, we will now move on to the high school.
All right, the high school student of the month for January is Eduardo Terán. Writing this on here. And here is your certificate. All right, so Eduardo, this is from Mr. Lamb, says Eduardo is an example of a student who always puts in the work to get the results that he wants. Often Eduardo is slower to complete assignments, but when he turns something in, you could be assured it is of top quality. Eduardo is the kind of person anyone would be happy to have as an employee. Mr. DeLong says Eduardo does an excellent job in my health class. Eduardo is a great role model for other students in class. He is always on task and is a pleasure to have as one of my students. Keep up the super work. And the last one is from Mr. Sapp. Eduardo moved to Nissa early last year, his junior year. He is a very quiet, reserved young man. Outside of his teachers, I think Eduardo keeps a low profile, and he does it out of his own choosing. I say all of this because while Eduardo may think he is going unnoticed, he is absolutely not. He is well liked and admired by his peers. He is a student of the month because his teachers think that he is a deserving candidate. And he is. I would like to force Eduardo to publicly admit that Mr. Sapp has been on to his act for over a year now. Last year he was a student of the year in U.S. history for me, and I can tell you it is not because he is an outspoken teacher's pet. No, Eduardo is what you can call the silent type. Every assignment, done. Every test, aced. Every single time he walks into my classroom, he makes it a better place for me as a teacher and for his peers and students. Eduardo, these fools only gave you student of the month. You are my student of the year. Don't forget when you become rich and famous from your amazing character and work ethic. Thank you for making our school a better place, and congratulations on your award.
Staff member?
I would love to. This school district staff member of the month is Miss Lori Ballou. Come on down. Lori loves being the center of attention. I've been saying that for a little while. I don't know if we say it enough, but my job, I know what my job is the principal. A lot of people look at the principal's building and think, hey, that's a really important job, right? And I walk into my office every day and I do my job, but I think the people that we don't always notice and the first people that people interact with most of the time in the school is our office managers. And in all reality, we don't give them enough credit for what they do and the processes that they do every single day for our school to be successful. Lori has been amazing in terms of the things that she does for our building every single day, whether it's keeping me organized, whether it's making sure that substitutes are available for all the teachers and make sure the learning continues in our building, whether it's purchasing things, paying attention to whether there's pens or ink or Kleenex, or calling moms and dads and wiping noses and calling the nurse and calling 911. You just keep going through the list, whether it's someone that answers the phone and it's an English Spanish translation that we need, and so just on and on and on. I don't know if our office managers at any building get the credit that they deserve in terms of how to make our building and school district function. And so when we got the opportunity to say who's the employee of the month, and we're going down the list, and we're like, man, why don't we just Lori? I mean, for goodness sake, right? We just look at all the things she does every single day. not only that, she does it with a smile, and she's fun to be around. And as we've got to know her more, I know as I've got to know her more, I also have coached her children before, but she's really funny, and don't let her tell that she's not. She kills us all the time. Obviously, it's been great in training our new employee that came to our building. Sarah Sapp had worked at the high school previously, and the transition's been great, and it's been a wonderful atmosphere at the middle school because these ladies are amazing. So, Laura, I can't say enough nice things about you. So, thank you for all you do, and make sure you have a good day tomorrow. All right, so we only get to do like awards three times a year, and I think this is the second time I've given this gentleman this award, but we're gonna give it to him, and it's well deserved, and it's Mr. Roger Hunter for volunteering. You guys obviously see Mr. Hunter a lot in the world, right? And so Roger came to NISA the same year I came back to NISA at the high school. And so Roger's been at the middle school now for, is it 23 years?
I did 2 years at high school.
Yeah, he did too, so it's gotta be 20,
19, 20.
it's gotta be close to 20 anyway, right? So as we get old, we forget how long we've been places. But it's gotta be pushing 20. And so if you don't know a lot of things about Roger, like obviously if you've been to volleyball games, you've been to basketball games, right? At either the middle school or the high school level, you've seen Roger doing that. And so really in my brain, right, if you do it, like we approximately host, during a volleyball season, we have like 10 league opponents, so that means we got 4 games a week on 2 different days, right? So we're doing approximately 20 games a season, right? And so in volleyball, then you girls ball or boys basketball and girls basketball. So do about 60 games roughly a year. So we're looking at somewhere in 20 years, like 1,200 games, right? That he's been at just at the middle school level, not including the high school level in terms of running clocks for us. And if you don't think it's a big deal, people recognize him. He's the face of NISA athletics in lots of regards, even though he's not a coach. He's the person that interacts with tons and tons of coaches, interacts with tons and tons of adults and officials. And go ahead and tell your story really quick.
Yeah, so this year high school has a shot clock for basketball, so Roger had to miss one of our girls' basketball games at the middle school on the scoreboard. And game gets, almost going, and the ref comes up and says, "Where's the other guy?"
Yeah.
The one time I was doing it.
And so those are the things that you see in a public setting. But the other things, if you've ever been in our hallways during parent-teacher conferences, all the pictures on the hallway of all our kids playing athletics throughout the year. Roger takes pictures of multiple events, right? Puts them up on the board. Has volunteered for multiple years for track, right? In terms of taking our kids to state middle school track, and obviously has volunteered as a track coach to the middle school level. So runs chess club, for example. Runs our chess tournament. So you name it, Roger Hunter's done it for our school district. I just want to take the time to acknowledge Roger for all the wonderful things you do to make and bless the lives of adults and also the lives of our kids. So thank you very much.
I'd like to remind you all that there will be pictures in the hall of all our awardees. So if you'd like to adjourn to the hall and get your picture taken.
Quiere recordarles que les van a tomar una fotografía, por favor de pasar al pasillo, los recipientes de nominación.
Thank you for translating.
I'm already on it.
Thank you, Martha.
I'm already on it. Oh, no, I'm already on it.
We will now move on to item 5, visitor meetings and delegations. Student representatives. Do we have any student representatives?
The student body president.
I think that's like.
Okay, we'll now move on to public comment then. item 6, our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Mornaka. So I would like to start my superintendent's report like we do every month and give the board and the community a 1C update. And so I'm going to ask Mr. Murray and Mr. Bryan to come up and give an update on our 1C program.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm here to talk to you about our migrant program as we approach the halfway point in the school year, and as we work also to remove ourselves from some of the constraints that have been placed on us by ODE because of past occurrences, and as we move to model, not just compliance status, but also model status as a migrant program. What I'd like to do is start off by giving you an overview of the program, and I think the best way to do that is probably just by the numbers of students who are enrolled in the program currently versus previously. And I think those numbers kind of speak for themselves, and we can talk through those a little bit. And then I'd like to talk about some of the details of the services that we provided our students this year. So, start off with, these are the numbers in the program over the past 7 years. You can see from left to right, the numbers have decreased significantly over the last 7 years, beginning with well over 1,000 students 7 years to 232 students now. Now, I think we probably know some of the reason for that. First of all, one obvious reason is that the numbers on the right, the 232, don't include students from Adrian and Vail because we're no longer part of a consortium, whereas previously they did. However, 90% of the numbers, even in those previous years, pretty much were NISA students. But the real other reason why the numbers have changed so dramatically is because the recruitment process has changed. It was different previously than it is this year, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the details of that recruitment process here as we go forward. But I think it's important to talk about recruitment a little bit. Recruitment is one of the things that makes the migrant program distinct from other federal programs. In some federal programs, students qualify based on the economic necessities of their parents. Whatever their parents make, they automatically qualify. Other federal programs, students qualify based on their linguistic abilities. In the migrant program, students only qualify when a recruiter actually goes out and contacts parents and does a very specific examination of their qualifications based on federal guidelines. And applying those federal guidelines determines if he or she believes that the parents qualify. And so that is one thing that makes the migrant program unique, is the recruitment process. So let's just take a look at some of what has gone on with recruitment this year. On the left side, there are some numbers here. And I should say up front, as you know, our recruiter is currently employed by the Willamette ESD, is not a NISA employee, and that was one of the constraints placed on NISA in this process of moving out from under some of the constraints that have been placed on us up to this point. That recruiter has contacted 156 families this year and completed 18 COEs. Those 18 COEs have 47 students listed on them, so 47 new students qualified for the program this year. At the same time, our staff has also conducted a backlog of calls of families whose eligibility expired in this period between August 2022 and August 2023 because there was no recruiter on staff either from the ESD or from NISA, and so their 3-year period of eligibility waned. And we are now moving back through those families to see if they might re-qualify because of an additional move that would qualify them. So that is the activity generally that the recruiter has participated in. On the right is the process that occurs after the recruiter has identified a family for the migrant program. The first thing that occurs after completing the COE on top is that she assigns it to our data specialist to review, so a second set of eyes is placed on it. The third step there, the data specialist assigns it to an outside reviewer. Fourth step, that outside reviewer takes that COE to the migrant ed team, and we all take a look at it in a weekly quality control meeting. Finally, the fifth step here, the reviewer assigns the COE to OMES for final approval, and it's up to OMS to determine yes, the family qualifies or no, that they don't. Now, of those 5 steps, the third one is the one that will drop away when NISA regains control of the recruiting process. It doesn't have it now, so that outside reviewer is an ODE employed person, and is here with us weekly in a weekly Zoom meeting, and basically walks our staff through the quality control process. So it's a training for all of our staff, and we'll maintain that critical piece, that 4th piece there, even after that outside reviewer is no longer part of the process. So that's the recruitment process. What I'd like to do now is turn to the school readiness process and talk about the services provided to students before they get to kindergarten. So we have 19 migrant students in preschool, 10 of whom are served here at the Migrant Ed preschool classroom here in the building. The others are served in other programs or through home services. And our school readiness specialist provides assessment services to all those students in basic skills in language arts, math, and school social skill readiness for school, and also has sponsored a number of events for parents this year, including a pre-reading skills night, a math skills night, and then here we are just implementing this month. And this is a curriculum based. This curriculum is called Ready for Kindergarten. It's a home-based curriculum that is in the native language of the parents, whether it's Spanish or English. Is a manipulative-based toolkit that parents get 3 times per year. 1 toolkit in language arts, 1 in math, and 1 in social skills, designed for the parent to use at home with their students to prepare them in those foundational skills that readies them for school. So that's school readiness. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about the services that we provide for the elementary students, elementary migrant students, middle school and high school migrant students through our graduation specialists. Of the 232 students we talked about at the beginning, 50 of them are what are known as priority for service students. Those are students who have made a move within the last year and or whose attendance is not at 90% or whose grades are not at the average level or below the average level. There are 21 students at the elementary school receiving services through the after-school program. 21 of the 21 identified students, priority for service students, 20 at the middle school, and 1 of the 9 identified students at the high school is receiving after-school services. As we look at the next slide, you'll see some other services that those students are receiving in place of the after-school program. This is the middle school numbers again, of 59 total migrant students at the middle school. 20 are receiving after-school intervention services in reading or math. And at the high school, the bulk of the services that the high school students are receiving are post-secondary services. Over here on the right, the 11th and 12th graders, either assistance completing the FAFSA process, which is financial aid assistance for post-secondary opportunities, or various leadership opportunities like TVCC camp, college assistance workshop, or OLDI, which is the Oregon Leadership Institute. So those are the services provided by our graduation specialist. And then just to kind of complete things here, there are some additional services that our staff has provided this year, something called the Farmers Relief Grant that 148 local farm workers qualified for. That was a $600 stipend provided by the federal government that our staff helped assist. The Toys for Tots program brought toys to 218 NISA kids, and we sponsored a migrant movie night in November for about 70 families attended, and we showed a movie called A Million Miles Away, which is about a former migrant student who later went on to become an NASA astronaut. So those are the numbers in the program and the services that we have provided so far this year.
Great job. So those are about the services, but just to bring and remind the board, as you had correspondence from ODE One of the reasons that we made some changes in the Migrant 1C program were because some of the issues brought to the attention to ODE by other members of the consortium and also different entities within the NISA school district. And so at that time, the Assistant State Superintendent, which was Colt Gill at the time, and now it's Charlene Williams, issued a letter to the school district outlining some specific strategies and processes that had to be instituted at the time. One of those consisted of putting the NISA school district in what they call a high-risk category. So no other school district, we are the first school district to be put into that high-risk category regarding the management of a federal program. In this instant, it was the 1C program. Along with that came the notice that we would be having a forensic audit. And the contractor of that forensic audit is a group out of Chicago. It is Crow. And I am happy to say that the audit, we were waiting for that audit to commence. It has commenced. And Mr. Murray and our business manager, Crystal, they are providing and uploading documents weekly to them. I've been in contact with the person who is going to be the lead on that, and to date she is very happy with what they're getting, at the frequency they're getting it, and then eventually once they have all those documents, and right now they're mainly financial documents, so it would be all of the budget narratives, and this will be from, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but it's from January of 2017 through December of 2022. So approximately 6 years of documents relating to revenues and expenditures. So Matt's already provided all the budget narratives, any supplemental budget narratives. Crystal's in the process of providing expenditures that were paid during that time. They will look at all of those. And then in February, they plan on coming out and doing an on-site visit, probably late February or early March. They believe that they will only be out here for about 2 to 3 days. In the meantime, next week, ODE will be coming and doing what they call a support visit. So that's with Jennifer Patterson and Charlie Bauer, which our board leadership, Susie and Pat, have met with. And they will be meeting with board leadership again, and I believe Jeremy, you've been invited to these, or if there's other board members that would like to be part of that, we just can't have 4 of you meet at the same time, but I'm sure that they would make time. So they will continually provide updates to the board on the progress or lack of progress that they see being made by the school district. That's called a support visit. At the end of February, then, there will be a monitoring visit, and that will be a more formal process in which ODE, once again, will come out, and the purpose of that visit, if progress continues to be going as it has been going, they want to talk to leadership and the board about, okay, how are we coming off high risk? And to date, they have been very pleased. I think the last visit with the board, they relayed that message to the board, and so we're just trying to be as transparent as possible as to the status of the program and moving forward. And just congratulate Matt, staff, Crystal. This is a lot of extra work, but they've been up to the task in providing them any and all documents to make sure that we could continue to be the consortium lead. A reminder that at this time, Vail and Adrian are on their own, so it's really not a consortium right now. It is just NISA. However, I believe that will not continue to be able to do like that. It's just not financially plausible for the small number of migrant students in this region for NISA to be on its own and for Vail and Adrian to be on its own. So at some point, there will have to be some decisions to make to how the consortium either comes together or possibly goes in a different direction. So, do you have any questions for either Matt or I regarding migrant program?
Thank you. And I do believe the PAC meeting is
Right.
next week.
Next Thursday night at 6 o'clock.
It'd be great if there was any board members that could be there at 6 o'clock. It'd be wonderful.
Where's it at?
Right here.
Right here.
You don't get to sit in these chairs though, you're. But I want to tell Mr. Murray, Mr. Grady, and Mrs. Riddell just how much we appreciate their work helping us go forward in the program. And so thank you, and if you guys can kind of see the timeline and how it's kind of laid out for our district to continue the path we're on. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Next, I have in there that I was going to distribute the packet to each board member containing the materials for our Educational Equity Advisory Committee. We've been talking about this. It's already in your packet for you to see it. So this is for you as a board to kind of review on your own, not tonight, but that's the packet, and then that's our process. Mr. Groding has really kind of helped lay this out for us. But as you can kind of go through it, see what qualifications are we looking for, all the way to, on the end, when they fill out that application, if they would like to be a part of that committee. And so that is in your packets as well. I would also like to give an update on the Wellness Committee. That's something in policy we covered in November, and we didn't adopt an update of that committee, or the wellness policy yet because of the committee. I'm working with Gina Friel, and I've asked her to head up that committee, and so we're sitting down talking about that and really getting that established. So I wanted to give you an update on where we're at on the Wellness Committee. So, any questions about those two things? Perfect. The next one I want to highlight, and I have some numbers there, and these numbers kind of highlight when I took over the interim position in July, right? And Julie helped me with this, and she really enjoyed this project I gave her. But what we did is we counted 20.6 hours of meetings, 885 pages of reading materials for those meetings, 23 weekly updates, various, obviously, as we know, followed by the community and those things. Those are just the basics, as you as the board have done since the end of July. Think about all of that work. And again, that doesn't include all of the phone calls from me, from Mrs. Morinaka. I think Mrs. Morinaka and I have daily conversations, and your commitment to our community is something I want to highlight tonight. As you know, it is Board Appreciation Night, so I'd like to take a moment to tell you guys how much we appreciate you. And so, it is really your unwavering devotion to the education and well-being of our students that is truly commendable. I mean, it is not easy to appear all the time. Your leadership has paved the way for positive change, innovation, and continuous improvement within our school district, and that was really highlighted with our 1C, kind of where we are going forward. We couldn't do this without your leadership and dedication. The impact of your service goes beyond the boardroom. It reaches every classroom, every student, and every member of our educational community. Your advocacy for education, your ability to navigate challenges, and your forward-thinking approach have set a standard of excellence in governance. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your guidance as well. As we reflect on the achievements and progress of our district, it's clear that your guidance has been instrumental. Your passion for education and commitment to shaping the future resonates with everybody in this room. And we are grateful for the positive changes you have brought to our schools. On behalf of the students, parents, teachers, and staff, I want to extend a heartfelt appreciation for your selfless service. Your dedication to the betterment of our schools is truly inspiring, and we are fortunate to have such an exceptional group of individuals leading our school board. So, in honor of School Board Appreciation Month, I want to tell you thank you for everything you do. And we do have gifts for you that I will distribute, but they are NISA School Board jackets that we want you to not only, we are proud of our school board, and wear this out in the community when you're at conferences and those things. We want people to know that you are our school board, and we're extremely proud of you. And so we have these kind of really made up, professional looking kind of things. And so, and you guys kind of saw all this, we just want to tell you thank you for everything you do and your dedication to our kids. Get our Staff Appreciation of the Month. That is your award now, with all of those snacks and everything for you. You're wondering where they went. It and so I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that does conclude my superintendent's report for the month. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan, and I'd also like to thank the schools and students for,
Principals for
and the
everything.
principals for all the wonderful decorations. I love it. I love it.
You are superheroes.
Yes.
If you see your faces are on this one, and so I would say you want to grab that because they're hilarious. And so,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so
It's kind of hilarious.
Kindergarten down there. Yeah,
I have to rip it off.
yeah. So if you get a moment, go down and see. You guys
It's cute.
super kindergartners colored all those in. It's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah, it's pretty neat. So thank you.
We'll now move on to Crystal and the financial report.
All right, tonight I have a packet of financials for everything up to December 31st of 2023. December was a pretty normal month financial-wise. Revenue came in, expenditures went out. We're building that cumulative balance as we move through the fiscal year. We carry that balance with us as in June we don't receive a state school fund payment, so we need all that money to pay out our expenditures in June, which is our most expensive fiscal month of the year. Highlighting our middle school bond account, our balance, we did pay our debt service payment that was due in December. Our bond balance now is a little over $338,000. That account will just continue to accumulate the taxes that we receive as revenue, and then we will make another debt service payment in June. I'm going to highlight or point out on the Early Head Start operating statement, I caught a mistake that I made last month. I did not catch that I did not have the monthly payment from OCDC in there. So that's why that ending fund balance has jumped back up. It looks more normal, so I apologize that I did not catch that last month. Food service ending fund balance, they ended the month at a little over $24,000. Our payroll report, we did run 5 payrolls last month, normal payroll, and then we had our extra duty stipends, and then just a couple here and there payrolls that we had to get out. And then also in the approval of the bills, that is everything from December 2nd to January 4th that was paid. There were, I believe, 2 Miller Nash invoices that I did pay that I forgot to include copies in your board packets, but I can email those to the board. And hopefully we've corrected the email address those invoices get sent to, because it's been going to the wrong email. And then just an update on the HVAC construction project. We're not quite finished, wrapped up financially yet, and I believe there's still one more unit that needs to be fixed on top of the roof, but we are really, really, really close. So with that, as Mr. Grotting said, I'm just working on the forensic audit with Matt, and starting the budget this month with the superintendent and the administrators, and that's what's on my plate. Any questions?
I don't think we've been bored lately.
I have not.
Okay, any questions? Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
We'll now move on to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion on the consent agenda or any questions?
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
All those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. Item 9, old business, there is none. We'll move on to item 10, new business. We now hear ESD service plan.
And then last week, Mr. Redmond came and presented that to you and broke down the financials of it. So today's just the approval of what we covered last week. And so you'll see that plan still in there, the local service plan. So it's just accepting of that plan.
This is an action item. Do I hear a motion on the ESD service plan?
I'll make a motion to accept the higher education service plan as presented.
Second.
It's been moved by Donnie and seconded by Jeremy to accept the Nahiri ESD service plan. All those in favor, signify by raising your hand. Motion carries. We'll now move on to the 2023-25 SIA grant agreement.
So in your packets as well, you'll see the grant agreement. We, in November, went over the SIA High School Success Act and looked at the expenditures and the narratives and all that. And so what we had to do, and I apologize to the board, we had to accept it back in November, December. I didn't have that on there, so I'm bringing it now so we can accept this and then move forward with accepting that grant. And so this is just a grant agreement with the state. So we will comply with all these things. We'll do the narratives, the reporting and all that. So, any questions on that?
You already presented these things, right?
The actual agreement, I don't think we did the actual
No,
agreement, but no, yeah, we went through the narrative,
Right.
all of the,
Yeah.
yeah, all of those pieces, and then those pieces, yes, we did go through that part, and this is just that agreement with the city.
So this is the grant where we have some matching, but that was already figured into the budget, is that right?
The student success grant was, when we had on there, and we have the High School Success Act with it, that's where we looked at the SRO contract, the new diversity and inclusion position as well, and counseling, social emotional support. That's where this is, and so.
Right, but their spending we're required to do, but that spending was spending that's already figured into our budget, right?
Yes.
There's nothing
Yes. Oh,
additional we
yes.
have to do.
You're correct, yes.
Okay, and that hasn't changed?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept the SIA grant agreement.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Jeremy and seconded by Dustin to accept the SIA grant agreement. All those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. We'll now move on to item C, employment complaint.
So we've received a complaint regarding an employment issue as allowed by KLAR 15 policy. I move the board not to consider such complaint with the result Superintendent Hawkins' decision stands. And yes, that's in Mr. Hawkins' purview. The employment decisions are within Mr. Hawkins' purview. So I would move the board not to consider the complaint.
Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Donnie. It's been moved by Dustin and seconded by Jeremy. I'm sorry, by Donnie. To leave the employment, to not take action on the employment complaint, and to leave that in purview of the superintendent. All those in favor, raise your hand. The motion carries. We'll now move on to item 11, the board report. Board scholarship. There is, in our packet, the board scholarship application. It's for a scholarship that the Nissus School Board provides to a qualified senior. The application is here, and it's available, so we'd like for it to be put out to our high school students. The opening opening, the application deadline will be the 1st of April prior to 5 o'clock, and I believe the opening date is now. So please get this out to our high school kids, students.
So for clarification, this is for students to fill out, correct? Just want to make sure that, and complete and have it sent out, just want to make sure.
Yes. Okay. Then, superintendent evaluation. We have collected, I believe I've collected all the initial evaluations, and we need to schedule a meeting of when to review. Susie, you and I were going to get together and tally the, tally them, and then we will get together to discuss the evaluation and give the superintendent our evaluation.
So we want to meet.
So does anyone have a preference on a day when we're available to meet? Giving Susie and me a couple of days to tally these.
Do you want to do on Monday?
Mrs. Morinaga, please don't forget, you guys have a work session on the 23rd already, so.
Maybe we'll do it the same.
That, the work session on the 23rd
Of January?
15th is holiday as well.
Do the 29th.
So that's the 23rd.
Yeah, how does the 29th work? I'm gonna do-
Well, do we just want to couple it with the work session?
How long is that work session gonna?
It's to review the survey
It's
and
supposed to be a
the
Zoom session.
stakeholder group.
Is it a Zoom session?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, that's good with
We
me.
could probably book it in if you don't.
Is that meeting on the 23rd at 7 o'clock?
I don't have the
6.
time.
I think
It's
it's
at
at
6,
6.
yeah, so
Do 6 to 7 with them and 7 till 11.
there's an hour going to cover that meeting. Yeah.
Okay, is that okay with everyone?
Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
Need it McPherson at 6 and then, okay? Great. Okay. I do not see a reason for item D, an executive session. Does anyone, we will strike that from our list then, from our agenda. And at this point, unless there are any other questions or anything, we will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
You gotta come out here and look at your pictures before you leave.
Do we really want to?
It could be an improvement, Dustin.
It wouldn't take much.
I forgot to grab my scissors.
Okay.